What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. Everywhere you look right now, people are talking about weight loss medications. It's the buzz at brunch, the group chat, and even at the doctor's office. But how do you know if weight loss medications are right for you? Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to weight loss treatment plans for every budget. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. Now, if prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check ins, dosage, and medication adjustments, and access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees and no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits in case you don't like the injections. But if you do, they also have GLP-1 injectable options. Oral medication kits start at $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid upfront in full. I love Hers because Hers puts your health and goals first, with real medical providers making sure you have what you need to get results. And all, my very favorite part, from the comfort of your couch. So, if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's FORHERS.com/ratchet. Forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable from K-Town. Yes, I am still here. I arrived last week, and I will be here for about another month or so. So far, so good. Everything's going really well. I haven't really done too much. I've been taking leisurely morning walks, like 3 miles every morning. The other day, I was out at like 7 a.m. One of my friends has to be at work at 9:30. And so she was like, the sun is up at 5:30. So anytime after that, I'm good for a walk. So we met at, I think, 6:45, 7, and walked for an hour. And then she took an Uber back to her place and got dressed to go to work. And I was like, is this your life? I said that to Davita, and she was like, yes, many people work out before work. And I was like, I haven't had a day job in literally 15 years.
I've worked a lot, long hours, but like a day job where I actually had to like report, like, to an office in like real clothes. No. I went to the spa yesterday. Usually I go like as soon as I get here, but I just didn't. But there was a spa one of my friends was telling me about last time I was here. So I was like really obsessed with this place. So I tracked it down. It's like in wine country, maybe an hour or so outside of Cape Town. I had a wine bath, like a wine jacuzzi bath, like in a tub of red wine. It's supposed to be good for circulation or something. I didn't particularly feel any better, but I also had like I booked a half day spa appointment, and it was lunch and then hang out at the spa for like an hour, a seaweed spices scrub. I felt like a baby's ass. I still feel like a baby's ass. And then the wine bath, and then a 60-minute massage, and then I added a facial on top of that. And I think the whole thing was like $300, $330 before tip. And I tipped well for obvious reasons, but I was like, that's like one treatment at a good spa back home. But like, four treatments plus lunch. It was good. Really, really good day. And then I had dinner with Davita, Miss Davita, my business partner for the See Some World trips last night because we have, I think it's 16 travelers who are coming to join us in Cape Town on Wednesday. So we just caught up for a dinner to go over everything, go over all the details, and make sure that everything was perfect for our upcoming guests. I'm really, really excited. Some of them are already landed in town. I haven't met them, but Davita has, and she was like, "Oh, this is like a turn up group." Like she was like, they're good." Also, a little bit of housekeeping. I added additional spaces to the spring trips for Ghana and for Cape Town. You can find them on my website, demetriallucas.com. I mentioned it on socials, but I didn't really promote it. But I've been posting about Cape Town, like since I've been here. And people were like, where is that? What is that? I want to do that. So like you can if you sign up for a trip. I think the spring Cape Town trip is the beginning of March 2026. And then the Ghana trip is for April over Easter weekend. So if you want to, follow the journey of See Some World, I'm being very purposeful right now about finding the balance of posting and sharing, but also living in the moment. So I will post about what we're up to as often as possible without, burning out. Let's see. We have much to discuss this week and some good Black news. I think last week's episode, I was like, I don't think we have any. We do have some this week. Actually, I think this happened last week. I just didn't have it on my list. Debbie Allen has received her first Oscar. Congratulations to Miss Debbie Allen. I'm reading this on Forbes. It says on November 16th, Miss Debbie received her award at the 16th Governors Awards. Forbes notes that Debbie Allen has dominated the entertainment industry for decades. Even to say dominated feels like putting it lightly. But they note that she is a legendary dancer, director, and producer, and her influence extends across television, theater, dance, and film. Yeah, sounds about right. They note that Debbie Allen is known for her impactful roles like Lydia Grant in Fame, directing and producing A Different World, both the original one and the one that's coming back on Netflix. I think we talked about that, how the reboot has been greenlit for Netflix. And they also said here, like she up-leveled, that's literally the word they use, up-leveling, the medical drama Grey's Anatomy into a global phenomenon. I've never watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy. I love Shonda. I love Scandal. I also couldn't get into what's the one with Viola? I've actually put it on. I've watched more than one episode, but like I think when it was it on Netflix for a while? One of the streamers. I would stream it just to like, give some black girl love, but I never got into it. Same with Grey's Anatomy. And I like medical dramas. I just didn't for whatever reason. That's not the point though. The point is the Governor's Awards traditionally honor artists, still reading on Forbes, whose work has made a lasting impact in Hollywood and beyond. And Allen's career exemplifies the purpose of the award as she has cemented her legacy through advocacy, longevity, and mentorship. She was presented the award by Cynthia Erivo. Miss Debbie listed her notable mentors, Alvin Ailey and Bob Fosse. Yeah, I could see that. But she said her most outstanding mentors have been her family, her mother, her father, who, quote, raised their children believing that they were citizens of the universe that there were no boundaries. And then she went on to add, tonight is a victory for courage, resilience, and passion and work. Doing the work. A lot of people don't like to do the work. Do the work. She continues, you have no idea how this award will resonate with the millions of people that are in my orbit and the people right now who need a path of possibility. This award will tell them that if they do the work, I should have put that on a t-shirt at some point, they can climb the mountain. They can stay in the game. Oh, congratulations to Debbie Allen. Long overdue. You know who else doesn't have an Oscar? Eddie Murphy. Did you watch Being Eddie on Netflix? If you haven't, it's really, 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 really good. I can talk about it freely because I don't think there are any spoilers. Like, we've been following Eddie Murphy's career. Eddie Murphy's in his 60s. I don't know a universe in which Eddie Murphy wasn't an A-list celebrity. He's been famous my entire life. I didn't, however, realize that he started comedy literally as a teenager, and when he turned 18, he was on NBC. Like, that's insane. Like, I knew he was good. I knew he was big. I didn't realize, like, how good? Yes. How big? Yes. I didn't realize it started so young. There is something to be said for getting your life going as early as possible and also for living as long as possible. Random aside, W.E.B. Du Bois has a house in Ghana that he lived in, obviously, when he was alive. And he's buried there, I believe. But he lived until he was in his late 90s. And he was able to keep, which is a blessing, his full mental capacity. So he was just able to like keep producing, keep working, keep going when other people, unfortunately, had like, tapped out like 20, 30, if not 40 years earlier. I say that to say about Eddie Murphy, like, I don't know how long he's going to go. God willing, he has decades more to go. But like, he got a really early start in life to the point where he's in his 60s and he can say, like, I've had an over 40-year run in Hollywood and beyond. Really good documentary. If you follow Eddie Murphy's career, which it's kind of impossible not to, they couldn't cover everything because there's so much to cover, at least in terms of his professional output. But they also skipped over a hell of a lot of his personal life, which only because he's been famous so long and as an A-list celebrity, like everything he did was, for the majors at least, was well documented in the news. So we know, like, who he was married to. We know he has like all these children. There was an incident where he picked up a young lady, kind of like a Teddy P situation, but minus the car wreck. But he picked up a lady, a trans lady, and that was a really big story at one point in time. It doesn't get any mention whatsoever at all in this documentary, nor does his ex-wife. And I was like, you were married to the lady for over a decade. It was a very public wedding. Like, I remember the pictures of the wedding. I remember her dress being splashed everywhere. Like, it was a really big deal that this Hollywood bachelor, and he was only in his early 30s, but still, but this mega wealthy, mega famous A-list celebrity got married. And like, that lady ain't mentioned at all. He was engaged to Tracy Edmonds at one point. She gets a very, very brief mention. I was like, oh, he must have really liked her. Mel B, he has a child with Mel B. No, none whatsoever. None whatsoever. The only wife he acknowledges, which I'm like, I understand not claiming your ex. I wouldn't either. The only person he actually acknowledges being married to is the current wife. And they have young kids together. So I was like, I go back and forth with that because I'm just kind of like, your life story is what it is, highs, lows. We still love you despite the lows that we know about. Like, I think there's a testimony in saying that I had these lows. And he does talk about the professional lows in the documentary. He does mention that, he was divorced and he was like in his mid-40s. He didn't know what to do with himself. So he went to the club and was like, yeah, I'm the old man at the club. Like, I can't do this. I need to find something else to do. Like, he talks about some stuff. But I was like, the big arrest, who said he was giving a lady a ride home. But it was pretty clear that, he was like trying to solicit the lady for sex. Okay. And I think it did pause his career for a minute, but that really could have like nuke bombed some other people's career. Like, there are people who have done less quote and unquote scandal. And I only say scandal because there's so many people who are transphobic, homophobic, queerphobic, all of that. I don't necessarily think. Was he married at the time? The point that I'm trying to make is there are people whose careers have been completely derailed for quote and unquote less scandal. And then he was able to, push through that and endure and still be like MF Eddie Murphy is a testament to his star power, to whatever, pushing forward despite adversity. I think there's lessons in that are worth being discussed. I think an over 10-year marriage that produced, I don't know, 5 or 6 kids at least is worth discussing for, 2 or 3 minutes out of a near 2-hour documentary. Maybe that's me or not. Because I think if there was a documentary done on my life, would I mention my ex-husband? I'd probably pull like a Toni Morrison. She has a documentary as well. And one thing that always stood out to me about her documentary, she mentions like, XYZ and I got married in like, I don't know, 19 whatever. She said we had one child. I think she says something like, the marriage lasted a couple years. That is the entirety of her discussion about marriage. Yeah, I'd probably pull about the same thing, if that. They might have to get context or commentary, not even context, but just commentary about that from what somebody in the friend circle that's interviewed for the documentary. A couple other things struck me about his documentary. One of them is he spent his money well. He has a house. It's a sprawling mansion. To call it a house is inaccurate. It's like a compound. I think maybe even calling it a mansion is selling it short. It's like a full compound, but it has a retractable roof. And I was like, oh, Eddie. And it's very classy. Like most of the documentary is filmed in his house. I was like, oh, you got your good coin. You signed good contracts and were paid appropriately for your reach and talent. Very good for you. And then you also spent the money well. Spending money well is an art form because there's a lot of people with money who are tacky as fuck. Also, I appreciate at some point in the documentary, Eddie Murphy is talking about his influences, and he notes that he had to pay for, I think he said had to. It was a very intentional way that he said it. But he had to pay for the funeral of Red Fox, who was obviously like a huge influence on him. And there was another comedian that he mentioned that he paid for their funerals. And he was like, these people are huge cultural icons and had worked for decades, had done so much work, had inspired generations of people, generations of comedians or actors even, and had nothing financially to show for it in the end, to the point that, Eddie Murphy ends up paying for their funerals. I can't remember who the other person was. And then also he said like the actor who played Buckwheat, I think he said he paid for his tombstone. That's one of the characters he used to play on Saturday Night Live in his early career was Buckwheat. So he went and paid homage by, buying the man a decent tombstone. So I was very happy to see that Eddie was paid well, and then also clearly like, saved the coin, invested the coin, spent the coin well. And so that he's living nicely in his 60s. Also notable is that he's in his 60s. Like it is a blessing, and it shouldn't be. A Black man living to be in his 60s and in seeming good health should not be something that is, always a blessing to be alive. But we've just had so many entertainers. As of recent, D'Angelo, and one of the topics that we're going to discuss in a second, Chadwick just got an award. Chadwick was in his 40s. D'Angelo was in his early 50s. But there are so many of our favorites, our beloveds, who didn't make it to 55, much less mid 60s. They didn't get a chance to grow old. So it's a blessing to see, Eddie Murphy living well, looking well, of sound mind, seemingly very happy, which I was like, good for him. It's a really good documentary. I guess we could talk about Chadwick now. Yeah. Yeah, we can. Chadwick Boseman, my king. Chadwick Boseman recently received a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This is last Thursday. And his wife, Simone Boseman, she accepted the star on his behalf. I saw pictures from the event. Michael B. Jordan was there. I think Letitia Wright was there. I think I saw her in pictures. Ryan Coogler. Them folks. I know how I love Chadwick Boseman. I met the man once in passing at a promotional event. We took a picture together. It was nothing of significance to write home about. I watched Black Panther a million times like everybody else, even though this might sound blasphemous to say, Get On Up is actually Chadwick Boseman's best role. Like Black Panther, freaking amazing. Change the culture. Like I get it. Wakanda forever. Yes. If you really want to see Chadwick Boseman like act his ass off, Get On Up where he's playing James Brown. And more important, dancing like James Brown, it's phenomenal. Chadwick Boseman and Get On Up is comparable to Blue Blanket. What's his name? I actually gotta learn this man's name. Daniel. Kaluuya playing Fred Hampton. Like it's that level of transformational. I say all that to say I'm sure he had colleagues from other films that were present at the awards, but I specifically saw the people that I named, and they were, I think rightfully so, carrying on like it was a funeral. He's younger than I am now when he passed away. Like there was so much, and not even just about like the Hollywood of it all, like the professional part of it, just like him as a man. There was just so much more life to be lived, so many greater possibilities, ups and downs, because that's what life is. But there was just so much more that he should have been here to be able to do. And it's just not. So, so sad. I will say this though. His wife, the widow, look, if you got to leave this earth before your spouse, that's the kind of person you want to be married to. She is preserving his legacy. She's out here doing some Jackie O level widowing. Coretta Scott King, too. She's another good one. Keeping her husband's name and legacy not just alive, but well preserved. And we talk about Dr. Bernice King. Anytime somebody says something about her daddy, like she will show up and defend that man's name. She got that ish from her mama. Coretta Scott King preserved her husband's legacy fiercely. And now the baby girl does it too. Chadwick Boseman's wife, she is making sure that his legacy endures respectfully, iconically, in his absence. That's a good trait in a wife and a spouse in general. You want somebody, if God forbid you should go on to glory, that makes sure you are remembered as the best part of how you live. People talk about a lot of traits that they look for in a spouse, and some of them are, completely ridiculous and utterly shallow. Someone who got a good sense and can preserve your legacy is an underrated trait. Skill that a lot of people don't think about. It's worth thinking about. I think next time I go to LA, I'll go visit Chadwick's star and pay my respects.
What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. Desires, interests, the space to change again and again. There's room for all of it here. If you have a fantasy, say it. If you have a desire, include it in your bio. You just may get what you want. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love Field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, Field is built differently. They don't guide your desire. You will be neither punished or rewarded for exploring your desires, unless that's your thing. In a place where there's no pressure to be anything, who will you be? My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play. Everywhere you look right now, people are talking about weight loss medications. It's the buzz at brunch, the group chat, and even at the doctor's office. But how do you know if weight loss medications are right for you? Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to weight loss treatment plans for every budget. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. Now, if prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage, and medication adjustments, and access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees and no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits in case you don't like the injections. But if you do, they also have GLP-1 injectable options. Oral medication kits start at $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid upfront in full. I love Hers because Hers puts your health and goals first, with real medical providers making sure you have what you need to get results. And all, my very favorite part, from the comfort of your couch. So, if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's FORHERS.com/ratchet. Forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Let's see. I might have to look up this Michael B. Jordan award separately. It's important to me to talk about his award. You know how I feel about Michael B. Jordan in general. But also, later in this podcast, I'm about to drag a black man, with a type of black man, abusive black man. So I want to make sure I talk about the best of black men, just for balance's sake, before I talk about some of the worst. So on the same day that Chadwick Boseman received his Hollywood Walk of Fame, Michael B. Jordan, reading this on Variety, he also received an award, American Cinematic Award, and it was presented by Ryan Coogler. They've done like 50 million movies together. So Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, they spent the morning saluting Chadwick Boseman, and then in the afternoon, he went over to the Beverly Hilton to receive his own award, to which he said, "I wouldn't want to share this day, this moment with anyone else. I'm actually so happy that it happened on the same day. I'll never forget it." If you recall, Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman, they wasn't as bad as Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande on their red carpet, but they were like having a full-on bromance. They were deeply, deeply, deeply into each other, and not, in a romantic kind of way. They just, really just got along, like really just like loved each other like brothers. Congratulations to him. I've loved Michael B. Jordan since he was Wallace on The Wire. I boo-hooed when they killed his character off. I mean, boo-hooed bad, 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 bad. Let's see, what else do we have on our list? We have TV news. All's Fair got picked up for season 2. The show with Kim Kardashian. Look, I watched the first, 3 episodes. I told y'all I couldn't take it. Like, a lot of people can't. We talked in a previous episode about, even though critics have panned it, it debuted as, I think, the number 3 highest rated debut show ever on Hulu. So many people love the show. And apparently they've continued to love the show during the weeks that it's been on, because it got picked up for a season 2. So I don't want to be a hater. It's not something I enjoy. It's clearly something many other people enjoy. I'm very happy that actresses that I admire, that I respect, whose work that I enjoy, are working during this time and will be receiving paychecks. I'm glad that Niecy Nash will be receiving more paychecks. I'm glad that Tiana Taylor will be receiving more paychecks. Sarah Paulson, I love her very much. I'm glad she will be receiving more paychecks. Good for them. Please spend the money well. That's all that I ask. That's all that I ask. Also, Bel Air is back. That's like one of my favorite shows, like, ever. I love me some Bel Air. This is the final season, unfortunately. Is it Peacock? Yeah, Bel Air's on Peacock. They released 3 new episodes yesterday, Monday. And I immediately, I woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't go back to sleep. And I was like, well, I know what I'll be doing. And watched all 3 episodes of the new season. It's good. The storylines are strong. The acting is always good. I have minor critiques. Like this season, it's only 3 episodes. Hillary is only in the first episode. She has a storyline that takes her away. And I was like, I'm going to guess the actress is on tour. She has a conflict maybe with other things that she's been shooting. But she's only in the first episode. And I was like, I love Hillary. I love Honeybee. We do get a Honeybee backstory about how she got her name, which sat here and boohooed like these are real people. But okay. But she's not gracing my screen as often as I like. I really, really, really like the actress and her character on the show. So I just wish there was more of her. Phil, good. Jeffrey, I don't love it, but I'm not mad at it. Let's watch it play out and see where it goes. Aunt Viv, fine. Will, fine. Carlton, fine. The little menace from last season, she don't mean no harm. She got problems. She's back. Lisa, Marlon Wayans is back as Will's dad. He's been in a couple episodes. He always does an excellent job wherever he shows up. The show is really good. It's strong. It's consistent. The writer's room, my friend's husband is in the writer's room, and he's like a really, really dope person, but also a really, really dope writer and from DC. So I was like, of course it's good. I love Bel Air. I love everything about Bel Air, except it's such a minor thing. They get so many other details right about just Black people, about just family dynamics, about living in LA. They get so much right. There's something going on with this writer's room or set design, production, showrunner. I don't know what it is. Something that has to do with like anything involving a kitchen. One of the reoccurring complaints of the show is that the Banks live in this sprawling, gigantic compound. It's another situation. Calling it a house, calling it a mansion would just be incorrect. But they live in this sprawling compound and they got a kitchen. Right now, I'm in a spacious 2-bedroom. It's probably about 1,300 square feet. It's a little bit smaller than Penny. The kitchen that fits here is like the same size kitchen that the Banks have in this sprawling estate. And I was like, why is the kitchen so small? So one of the 3 new episodes is a Thanksgiving episode. For reasons unintentional, the turkey doesn't come out right. Like somebody forgets to turn the oven on. I can't believe you did this dumb shit on Thanksgiving. But okay, it happens to the best. So they decide we don't have time to actually, cook the turkey because that's going to take like another 3 hours and we hungry now. Why don't we fry the turkey? Which, okay, great. That makes sense. That's actually like a great idea. They don't have a proper like air fryer, turkey fryer, like a proper fryer. So they decide to make some sort of like half-baked contraption of like oil and fire and like dip the turkey down into it, which, okay, fine. But they do that shit indoors. And I was like, are you trying to blow your house up? Like, are you intentionally like creating arson? Do you want the insurance money for the house? Like, why the fuck would you do that? Who fries a turkey indoors? The Banks family? I don't understand it. I don't understand the choices. I don't. Oh, this happened earlier today or late last night, so I didn't put it on my list. Letitia James and James Comey had been sued by the DOJ. It was very clearly out of revenge. Letitia James prosecuted Trump. We always talk about how he has 34 felonies. Letitia James was responsible for getting that conviction. So Trump hates her. But I'm reading this on NBC. It says a federal judge dismissed the criminal indictments against former FBI Director James Comey and New York AG Attorney General Letitia James. They found that the prosecutor who brought the cases, former Trump attorney Lindsey Halligan, was not lawfully appointed. I thought it was dismissed just because the case was some bullshit, but whatever works. And then villain Pam Bondi, also known as the U.S. Attorney General, she said she would be seeking an immediate appeal. Womp womp. Let's see, scrolling down to see Letitia James' reaction. She says, quote, I am heartened by today's victory and grateful for the prayers and support I have received from around the country. I think my family donated to her legal fund. I remain fearless in the face of these baseless charges. Baseless is her favorite word. As I continue fighting for New Yorkers every single day. I think it's worth noting, it's not in this article, but I read it somewhere else. The charges against Letitia James were over allegedly some misinformation on her mortgage. Like she claimed a house as her primary residence while she was using another house as a primary residence. That was the concern. But Fannie Mae did their own investigation into like what was going on and was like, yeah, wasn't nothing going on. Like there's nothing to see here. She was clearly prosecuted out of revenge. Yeah, I'm reading here. It says senior fraud investigators at Fannie Mae concluded that there was no credible evidence of mortgage fraud by Letitia James. Like I knew this and you knew this, but I just want to put it on record that Fannie Mae also said, essentially, in short, this is some bullshit. Last but not least, is this last but not least? Oh no, do we need to talk about this RFK scandal? We can, just because it's like stupid. It's white people ratchet. RFK Jr., the nutcase who's over our health department, him. Apparently, one of the women he had a digital affair with, so they were sending each other sweet nothings. They never actually physically consummated their affair. And he was writing all sorts of filthy shit to her, which has only come to light because the woman RFK Jr. was having an affair with was engaged and her would-be husband found her text exchanges, which she wasn't just having with RFK. She was having them with him and at least two other men. Obviously, the engagement got called off. So apparently, like, this was kind of like insider knowledge. A while ago, the woman was let go from her job. She's a journalist, because she was, having interpersonal situations with like people she would be covering. Although she's insisted that none of her affairs caused an issue or a conflict with any of her professional work. But nevertheless, so her would-be husband has written this book about himself and details about his relationship. And some of those details include some of the crazy shit that RFK was saying to this man's fiance. And for clarity, that the woman did not object to. She was with the shits. I saw some of the texts the other day and I was like, oh, this man is filthy. This ain't just like, Jeff Bezos when he was writing to his then mistress, now current wife. He was saying like, little stuff. He was like, I would like to get drunk with you. He was like, but not too drunk, just a little drunk. Like Jeff was trying to say he wanted to have a buzz and just, vibe out. Okay. This nigga here, he said, do I have the full text? I'm sure I screenshotted this because this is my kind of, not my kind of carrying on in my personal life, but in terms of like, this is some ratchet, filthy shit. Let's see. Do I have it? Because I was like, oh, they out here talking crazy, crazy. Some things are just filthy. You can only clean it up so much. Oh, we didn't have Pusha T on the list either. I mean, it's not surprising to me that he's a fuckboy. I wanted better for him. I'm just like, damn, why you embarrass your wife like that, though? Wait, let me find these emails real quick. Let's not get sidetracked. Because he was saying, like, nasty shit. And I was like, sir, 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 sir. Like, he was basically telling this lady he wanted to come in her mouth, but he, like, tried to clean it up, which really only kind of made it sound worse. I'm reading this on the New York Post. They're describing the text exchange between them. They're saying that they were salacious text messages and raunchy poems. And I was like, I didn't find anything particularly poetic about what was written. Oh, okay. So they're explaining here what felching is. I've never heard the word felching before. Apparently, this was something that RFK was into, and felching, Lord, my mother and father listened to this podcast. Oh dear. Felching, it's a sexual act in which one partner sucks semen out of another partner's anus or vagina following unprotected penetrative sex. And said the term was first coined in a 1972 book about homosexual sex. And they say that it is a fairly common sex act, according to the National Institute of Health. I have never heard this before. New York Post does note here that the felcher, if that person has gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, HIV, hepatitis B, or herpes, then consuming the semen could result in serious illness and infection. So I'm just sharing that with you in case you heard about this new term, or maybe this is something that you've been doing in your private life already. There are health concerns about this particular act. So here now we get into some of the details of the text messages that were exchanged. And so RFK says to this woman, oh my God, he types like a young nigga. He says, you're, as in YR, open mouth awaiting my harvest. The New York Post says that this is the beginning of a poem. And I was like, is this what we're calling poetry these days? I mean, to each their own. He continues, I mean to squeeze your cheeks to force open your mouth. I'll hold your nose as you look up at me to encourage you to swallow. Don't spill a drop. Or maybe this is why they're calling it poetic. Okay. I am a river. You are my canyon. I mean to flow through you. I mean to subdue and tame you, my love. Oh, people are into a whole bunch of different things. Like the subdue and taming wouldn't quite, be my thing. But, there are people who, for that is their thing. They are, consenting adults it's always helpful when, folks are single, but I do appreciate that they are, adult people. Everyone is of age and everyone appears to be consenting to exchanging these poetic text messages. Lord.
In Walmart's Who'Knewville, everyone ready their cart. Amazing Black Friday deals are about to start. Online and in the app, such great deals to explore. Everything you love from tech, toys, and more. The days to save and the ones to remember. It's only the 25th to the 30th of November. Set your alarms. Don't miss out. These deals are epic, without a doubt. The Who's are all ready, but are you? Walmart Black Friday deals await. Who knew?
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
What do you want? Not family, not friends, not society at large, you. What do you want and how do you want it? Without the noise of external opinions, you may have the space to find out. On the dating app field, curiosity leads the way towards intimacy with others and yourself. Desires, interests, the space to change again and again. There's room for all of it here. If you have a fantasy, say it. If you have a desire, include it in your bio. You just may get what you want. If life on field interests you, here's a closer look at exactly what happens there. Now, I love field because it doesn't gatekeep connection. In an age where dating apps create hurdles to finding your people, field is built differently. They don't guide your desire. You will be neither punished or rewarded for exploring your desires, unless that's your thing. In a place where there's no pressure to be anything, who will you be? My favorite part, there's no fast swipe culture. Sometimes attraction takes time. Here, you don't have to make a split decision in order to see another person. Skip profiles, go back, and take the time you need to decide if you really like someone. Are you ready to give Field a try? That's FEELD. Download Field on the App Store or Google Play.
Okay, so Pusha T, let me just circle back on this one. Pusha T's wife is pregnant and he is excited about his wife's pregnancy. So he posts, and this part is dedicated to his son. He says, Nigel, you ask and you shall receive. But this time it was mommy who made it happen. She prayed day and night, struggled with disappointments, but she never gave up on your wishes. You are going to owe her big time. So far, so good. He says, new responsibility, new standards, and new expectations all come with being a big brother. I hope you're ready. It's time to share them toys, teach your gifts, and love on the new best friend that mommy gave you. You're gonna love it. Just look at your daddy and Uncle Mookie. So Uncle Mookie would be Malice. Very cute. Pusha continues. He says, what's better than that? That being the loving relationship between the brothers. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful announcement to say that you and your wife are welcoming a new child into the world, introducing the current child to the concept of a new child coming. Beautiful, beautiful sentiment. And so then this is where it all goes left. There are some men, it's like they live to embarrass you. He then tags his wife and he says, thank you for my second baby boy. Fine. That's all he really had to say. If he stopped there, we wouldn't be reading this here. But he doesn't. Oh, no, he doesn't. He continues. He says, I hope you carry on with tradition and never teach me how to change a diaper, prep a meal, suck out a snotty nose, or anything else a supermom does. Sir, you know these are your kids, right? Yes, like you go and make money and she may be a homemaker. I'm not sure what professional job outside of the home that this wife may have. How you already got a kid, at least one kid, and you don't know how to change a diaper or prep a meal or get some snot out of child's nose? Like, how are you a father? You got this woman doing everything? Seems like it. And he's proud of this too. Proud. Because he put it on the internet. So he says, you make things very easy for me and I love and appreciate you for it all. And then he says to his unborn son, see you spring 2026, my boy, and puts a little blue heart. Sir, help this woman. Like, yes, she is a mother. Yes, you may be the breadwinner in the situation. Like, yes, great. Help this woman. She didn't create this child by herself. Like, she baked and birthed the child, but that is y'all's child. This is some sad and sorry shit. Like, okay, great. Like, you are a famous rapper. You make a lot of money. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You also are a father. Being a high paid person, being on tour, having to travel does not exempt you from knowing how to physically care for your own fucking children. The man got kids and don't know how to change a diaper. He don't see nothing wrong with that. He don't. Do you? I do. I do. He could have kept that shit for himself. Like, he wanted everybody to know he out here working this lady like a rented mule and not taking care of his own damn kid. Financially, sure. But actual, the care of your child, how you care about somebody and don't like literally take care of them. Change your kid's fucking diaper, dude. These men will embarrass you. Speaking of embarrassment, over the weekend, a video started circulating, or let me just say I saw it over the weekend. I don't know if the incident occurred over the weekend, but it's recent. A woman posted a video, I think on TikTok. She was on a bus and there was a couple on the bus, a man and a woman. But at some point during the bus ride, I'm going to go ahead and guess when the couple was leaving the bus, the guy stepped on the girl who was not his girlfriend. And the girl called him out and was like, hey, like, you stepped on me, like, apologize, say excuse me, like, because that's fucking rude. If the guy refuses to apologize, they're all getting off at the same place. So when the girl gets off, the guy who stepped on her foot, his girlfriend confronts her. The two women exchange words. The girlfriend mushes the girl in her face or pushes her in the face. And then the girls start fighting. The video that we can see of all this picks up with both of the women on the ground fighting each other. Super fucking crazy. The girl directs the boyfriend to handle the situation, which he proceeds to do by picking up the girl, the one who he stepped on that he wouldn't apologize to, the inciting incident of this all. He picks her up from the ground and proceeds to start choking her from behind. And you can see her feet like dangling, like trying to like catch ground to keep herself from being strangled, essentially. And people start screaming for the guy to let the girl go, and he won't. And as he's choking her, he's telling her he's going to kill her. A couple guys eventually intervene and they get him off the girl. She's thrown to the ground like a rag doll. Like, she's a tiny little thing. People are yelling at the guy who's still going crazy. His girlfriend is yelling like, she started it, she started it, she started it. And then the guy keeps saying like, call 12, the police, essentially. Because he's like, he wants the smoke. It was I'm describing it, and I don't recommend actually that you go look at it. Like, it's a very difficult video to watch. You're seeing a guy completely lose control and choke out this woman. And then like, I just keep picturing in my head, like her feet, she's on her tiptoes trying to like search for solid ground to keep herself from choking. It's really violent and really awful, this video. So the video starts circulating. I actually only hear about it when Morehouse releases a statement saying that we've seen this disturbing video that involved a Morehouse student, and they go on to say that the behavior shown on the video is disappointing. They say that this is not behavior that is conducive to a Morehouse man. They say a lot of things, but what they don't say is that the student has been expelled from school, that he's been removed from the Morehouse community and sent back to wherever he came from. They do say that they're doing an investigation. As I'm recording this, it is Tuesday, 3 a.m. my time. So it's Tuesday evening. Morehouse has released a statement. Clark, Atlanta, where the young lady goes to school, the woman who was choked, where she goes to school. They've released a couple statements that there's an ongoing investigation, and they don't play about violence, especially men against women. Like, they're saying all the right things, but the doing is what's concerning me. So like, obviously Clark can't throw out a student that doesn't attend their university, but Morehouse seems to be like hemming and hawing about what to do about this young man. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, did you see a different video than the one I watched? Because that young man is completely out of control. Get this man off campus. He's a danger to other students, particularly young women students that he interacts with. That man is a terror. He's willing to act like this in public. He's willing to choke this chick out in public. This ain't his first rodeo. He's done this before. And I'm sure like once you go investigating, you'll find out he's done it to other women likely on the college campuses. The longer Morehouse waits to expel this man, the bigger the lawsuits against them are going to get. On a moral, ethical level, for the safety of other students, you need to remove this man. But I was like, I don't understand what their lawyers are doing right now. And I was like, they're setting themselves up for a massive lawsuit. You're trying to protect this one young man, kick his ass out and save yourselves. I don't understand why they're protecting him, because that's what it is at this point. He's also been officially charged by the Atlanta PD. Let me pull up that story. Oh, here we go. This is on the Griot. This over the weekend, a video of a young man violently assaulting Clark University student Kayla Bryant went viral. Police identified the man as 21-year-old Morehouse college student Matthew Gonzalez Forrestine, and he has been charged with aggravated assault, the choking, and terroristic threats. That would be the threatening to kill her in the call 12. And the Griot notes that the video has been viewed, this is just the one that she put up because it's been shared all over the place, 4.5 million times. And it's gained widespread attention online. That's an understatement, with many users calling for accountability for the man involved. And they note that both Morehouse College and Clark Atlanta have released statements. So this is what Morehouse said. This is a longer statement. They say, we want to state unequivocally that the behavior shown is disappointing. Okay, like get rid of him. And they continue, whether physical, verbal, or written, violence and threats of violence have no place in the Morehouse community. And then the president of Clark Atlanta, he also made a statement. He said, I'm deeply concerned by the assault recorded and witnessed on social media of one of my students this week. As the president of this institution, my first priority is the safety and well-being of our students. As a father, this disgusting display of violence against a young woman is unacceptable and has no place in our community. Then he adds, we want to be clear, violence as a whole within our society is anti-ethical and disruptive to our culture. Moreover, violence of any kind, particularly against women, is intolerable, unacceptable, and has no place on our campuses. I think this is why I wish I had a legal degree sometimes. Like Law and Order didn't cover this. The incident took place off campus, so that may play a factor in like, I don't know why Morehouse is dragging its feet, to which I would counter, again, not a lawyer, but we've seen people kicked out of colleges for so much less. I don't understand why Morehouse has not officially kicked this kid off campus. Yes, he's a young man who clearly needs help. Clearly he needs help. And I hope he gets help. But he has to have some sort of consequences for what happened on this video. You can't just pick up a chick and choke her out and threaten to kill her in the middle of the street and still get to show up for classes every day. You can't. Or maybe you can. And that's a huge fucking problem. And Morehouse gets whatever's coming its way if their administration doesn't act in the way that it should about this incident. They're a private school. They can kick out anybody for almost any reason just because they fucking feel like it. What they seemingly feel like right now is protecting this attacker. And that's a problem. Let's see. I'm looking this up. There are a couple updates from 7 hours ago. The kid is in custody as of 3 p.m. on Tuesday, according to the Fulton County Jail inmate web search. So that's what we've got for this story. I've told you what I think. Hopefully we see some progress on this story in the next couple days. By progress, I mean at the very least, this young man is suspended. I think an expulsion would send a better message. Morehouse, like this is your time to act and to protect Black women. We're waiting on you to do that. All right, that's the episode for this week. Not everything, because there's just too damn much. As I'm wrapping the edit for this episode, I just saw that 50 Cent is releasing his Diddy documentary on Netflix on December 2nd. The Travelers come in literally later today. And then also, it's a holiday, Thanksgiving. So I doubt we will get a bonus episode unless something like completely, utterly batshit happens, which I hope that it does not.
All right, we'll talk again next week. Happy Thanksgiving. We're hosting a big Thanksgiving here in South Africa, which I'm super, super, super excited about. I'm going to live in the moment, but I'll try to capture as much as I can to share with you online. Also, just a reminder, if you're interested in March for Cape Town or April for Ghana, you can find more information and sign up on my website, demetriallucas.com. All right, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk soon next week. Okay, bye.